Is it me?
Damn, y'all couldn't hear my audio. You can hear me now?
Say it again.
What's up with you?
Yo, you had, well, I can't say you had, but Unc had himself looking crazy yesterday, bro.
I know he did that to himself, but he every once in a while some of the brothers do that to themselves.
Yo, it was looking bad for Unc. I mean, good God.
I mean, hey man, when they want to come against that Kemet like that, they understand that for thousands of years it's been the Madjai defending Kemet. If they think something's gonna change just because of who they are, they crazy. You there?
Yeah, I'm still here. I'm trying to get my Bluetooth set up.
Okay, yeah, I'm over here. Get beet soup. What's beet? Oh, beet soup. I don't know what that was, but y'all feel free to click the link. I probably got like an hour that I'm gonna be streaming this morning. Maybe come back later, because then we got a show out in Monterey, California, at the Monterey County Fairgrounds with the Wolves, a few other people. So that'll be this evening. We go on about 6 or 7. So then I get to come back and sit back down again for the next month and research. But yeah, hit the link, y'all. Feel free to hit the link.
Yo, it was looking crazy. It was looking crazy for Unc and them yesterday.
Well, a whole bunch of people got bodied yesterday, but that was just like, what it could be. It never came to that head. It ain't always got to go there, but you definitely know what it could be, what it can be. It can be ugly. It can get real ugly.
Remember that picture I always show that the Egyptians and the Nubians and they depicted themselves looking the same.
Uh-huh.
Why do people have a problem with that concept of the Egyptians and the Nubians being the same color?
It's only a few people problem with that. It's these pseudo black people. It ain't even white people. It ain't even like it's just these pseudo, and they all actually Islamic. Any hey. Ask them, is you Islamic? Because then they gonna say, and then okay, case closed. I see why you hating on Black Egypt, because that's part of your whole religious theory. Or if not, show me a Islamic person who studied Egypt that say the opposite. See, they all say one thing from Zahi Hawass to Ghazi. They all say the same damn thing. And I'm ready to address it head on. And that's why they can't get around that shit. Who just stepped into the building? What's up with Asar M. Khan?
Boom! Guess who stepped in the room? Take out.
I seen you over there bodying dude. Dude ain't, oh my God. They set you up for an easy kill, bro. What's up with that?
You know.
It was like, you ever see a cat when it got a mouse and it's just not ready to kill it yet? So it let it run for a minute, then it catch it again.
I put my hand on his tail, smacked his mouth, let him go on, Jerry.
Yeah, that's what it was looking like. How did he match up them debates? Like he just let anybody against anybody?
He got like a tournament format. It's like 36 of us or something crazy like that. So brother JJ hit me up. He right up the street from me, somewhere over here, right up the street. So I'm gonna go sneak in on him one time. And he called me with the brother Amayan. We was going to debate something else, and then he was like, well, let's do what I was like, well, let's get that since we've been talking about it. And then what I put forth, this would be a good way to see where our theories are at compared to whoever he brings to the table. And I'm almost done with these slides. I'm just putting my PowerPoint together and get that work. Anything you want to add in there, you let me know.
Oh no, I ain't got nothing to do with that. I just was watching for entertainment. I know how much a body is gonna be, so I'm kind of trying to. It's like you watching to see the nuclear bomb drop from a distance and shit. Like, let me see how this gonna hit when they hit. I want to see what the people say when you show them the spelling. You got to make him
Yeah,
read it out with the dictionary, like we did. Like, what's
yeah.
this letter? Can you confirm that this is an S? Okay. And then by the time you spell it out, I say, what does that spell? He gonna be crushed.
You already know how this is about to play out. This is going to be crazy. Plus, I got one of my professors who I took a class from, Bob Breyer. I'm going to introduce some information that he said concerning. We're gonna go. We got, man. He got a difficult ride, man. He gonna have a difficult ride. We're gonna talk about James Hoffmeyer. I'm sure he's gonna jump over to Peter Van, whatever his name is. He gonna be in trouble. It's gonna be rough. And then we got to get into the journal, because archaeology covered some of this already. And then we got some maps.
I'm gonna give you because I don't know where it's at, but if you do the research, you can find out that they didn't know how to translate the work, and it wasn't even one of the linguists who suggested it was Israel. It was just Flinders Petrie
Oh
as
yeah,
the
that whole
linguist.
conversation with Flinders Petrie at dinner.
Yeah,
The
you need
priest
to
will
show
be
them
pleased.
that combo.
That's one of the slides. The priest will be pleased. That's exactly what he said. So the convolution and making that whole thing fit, and when it clearly didn't, John Hoffmeyer, who wanted to say Israel, the way he destroyed it, it's just going to be a problem. And then when we actually show it, and I show these maps, and we show where Merenptah actually went to, good luck. Good luck. And this is a challenge to any Egyptologists out there too who keep saying to say that, because I'm gonna go, and I already got the ring where you guys tried to say the ring before Merenptah said Israel, and you had to back off of that one too. So we're going to touch all of that.
Peace. What y'all got going on this morning?
Ain't shit. I'm headed to my daughter graduation.
Oh, yeah.
What's up with you, dude?
Will you allow me to share my screen?
Oh, damn. Oh, yeah, I'm on my phone. So how do that work? I know that at the house I can click a button and say allow everybody to share the screen. Let me see if that's still the same thing. Yeah. See, no. How do I gotta go into meetings. Hold up.
Already. Because we're gonna keep it going, man. I seen Unc's presentation last night and it was lame as hell.
Oh yeah, that was hella boo-boo. I was feeling sorry at the house.
Man,
so what did he do? Because I ain't even see it.
Man, listen, we finna go through some highlights right quick. If he let me in, man, we finna go through it. We finna go through it. We gonna make some people famous today, man. They threw up some funny stuff.
Okay. Let me see if they Damn, they might not let me do it. We might have to do it tonight. Or maybe I can make somebody else the host and make it so that you can share your screen.
Already.
Yeah. I'm gonna try that.
Don't make me the host.
Dude, I'm making you the host. You the host now. Now, see, go look at the bottom and make it so everybody can share their screen.
Yeah.
There you go. Yep.
All right. So let's see what we got here, man. Because Bobby came in, he busted in the show and was acting like we wasn't talking about what we was talking about, and he acted like we needed some help. So let's see what he talking about with Bobby coming in the show. This is yesterday.
What's up, Bobby?
What's up, man? That's my favorite person right there, though, right? Mm-hmm. That's my favorite person. And I remember listening to him 15 years ago and was acting like y'all was that. I never get it. I wasn't even fucking with him. I'm like, nah, yo, nah. And I kept listening. Yo. He gonna help y'all out, yo.
Who's y'all?
We need some help. Oh, hold up, it just stopped. I don't know why I did
What's up,
that.
Bobby?
What's up, man? Yeah, that's my favorite person right there, though, right? That's my favorite person. And I remember listening to him 15 years ago and was acting like y'all was that. I never forget it. I wasn't even fucking with him. I'm like, nah, yo, nah. And I kept listening. Yo. He gonna help y'all out, yo.
Who is y'all?
That's my man.
What all this fake shit about that's my man, nigga, you ain't got no closer affiliation to this. And who is y'all he gonna help out? We gotta come in correctly.
Hold on. Y'all, Smash Rockwell.
Uh-oh.
Mr. Wishmacomic.
Whoever that is.
It's called the Black Egyptian. That's y'all.
What?
That ain't no disrespect. That's just telling like it is. Help y'all out. He gonna help y'all out.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let me ask you a question.
Hold on, and I have talked to the brother on the phone several times. Absolutely.
All that don't mean nothing. The point of the matter is, no matter how long ago you've seen this video or how many times you talked to him on the phone, what he maintains in his argument agrees with what I've been saying.
Man, I dare you play the whole video. Matter of fact, go to the end.
If you would stop talking over it, we would have been watching it.
All right. So that's what he said. He said if we go to a particular point, this dude is going to help us out. Do we need any help? Let's see if we need some help, because we come to later on that night, Bobby come on and let the dude play. Here we go.
Let's go. This is the video. We was having a conversation and we couldn't quite seem to get to this point. Well, now we're to this point.
Here's the point.
I used to be dark and black, bro. I'm sorry. So it was used the word me.
Your volume is all the way up on your computer.
I used to be dark and black, bro. I'm sorry. So it was used the word me like that. Part of the diet thing coming out about that.
I don't know what you mean by Negro, and I wouldn't use that word. I wouldn't use that word. No. Yeah, well, if they, I will say that they were dark.
Good.
And I don't know how dark. And they had limb ratios that are tropical, that you find in the tropics today. Okay, those are all things that, based on biological principles, would tie them to where they are.
That's it. That's what we needed help with.
So look, can you hear me?
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think my brother had a mistake in his memory and thought that Soy Kiata had said the word black, that the questioner had said the word black there. But actually the questioner said the word Negro, and his reply was, I wouldn't use the word Negro. But he did exactly what we said. He just described some Nilotic Negroes. He said, I would say that was dark skinned and had tropical limb proportions. Specifically saying tropical limb proportions leads us back to what they call the black man with skinny legs. The tall, you know, that's what that come from. Heat is about heat dissipation, and no need for nobody in Africa to be hella stocky because it's not hella cold. And so when he said tropical limb proportions, if we understand the undertone of anthropological speak, that's like what he's saying. That's what he's saying to do. Like, I wouldn't say Negro. I would just say dark skin with tropical limb proportions.
So he come
I
in,
don't
kick
need
in the
Negro, no
door,
way.
come in
Negro is
hella hot, out of context, talking about stuff nobody was even talking about, saying that this dude is going to help us out. And when he took us to the point, he only shows that the scholar has a contention with the word Negro and biology, which we all have the same contention.
Yeah, we don't use Negro.
Point? But let's go even further. 1 second, I got 2 more clips, they short. Let's go even further, because we're going to see who needs the help.
Those things, we're also having a historical conversation, is we not? So,
Turn that up, because we can't even hear that one.
Yeah, I agree with you on the concept. But when we're talking about ancient Egypt, we're also talking historical things. So
You probably gonna have to tell what he's saying, because you can't even hear that one.
we're having the biological conversation.
Can you hear it
Are
now?
y'all saying that we can't use it when we're having a conversation?
Yeah,
about
that's a bit better.
No.
Hold on. Can I say something?
Let me speak to that. I ain't said that in a minute. And it'll be short and sweet. Said you're right. And this has been my stance from the beginning. I think everybody's been trying to take my position, but I feel like I spilled on it first, but I don't mind. But the whole thing is people ain't really keeping up with the conversation. people don't understand when we changing lanes and be trying to use the terminology interchangeably between the sciences, right? And that's the issue. Yeah, we got to keep things in context, and people really don't know how to do that, like for real, for real. You know what I'm saying? So we all try to be overly scientific, but don't even really understand it when we switching between branches. And that's really what we failing at. That's really what we failing at.
Because we all due diligence. I agree. Hold on. Hold on, yo. Hey, due diligence. I agree. I do not know how to do that. You're right. Because I think it's a goddamn trick.
So there it is. He thinks it's a trick. Hold on, we got one more.
So let me tell you something about conversations. And conversations, intelligent conversations, and should always have a like an ending to it. Meaning, if we're talking about one subject, right? Before we transition into another subject, we should at least meet some type of criteria, right? We should have like some type of agreement that we're now moving. Because the trick is not to let me know you're moving and then continue to say something, and I'm thinking you're talking about what we was talking about, but you really was talking about something else, and then it gets all flim-flam, somebody else dive through and mess it and confuse it all up. That's when it gets wild.
So here we have it. So he say we need some help, but we hear the pseudo killers asking for help, Chef and Bobby Banger. But I gave him the answers to the test before they even said something. I told him exactly what he needed to do, So the indicators and the signs that he asking for when the conversation changes is in the language. You cannot purport to know science and not understand that the terminology is not interchangeable. Those are the signs and the indicators that you need to know when the conversation switches lanes, switches to different branches of science. So there you have it. The pseudo killers asking for help, and we over here giving them a hand over here on the Madjai's channel, man. You know, we see who need the help. That's all I wanted to show, man. This is some little highlights from the night, man.
I'm thanking for the good views and the discourse. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, we could all be wrong, but you know, I'm just playing my position as a vanguard of Kemet. You know what I'm saying? That's what the Madjai archers do. That's just everybody who out here defending Kemet. That's why they saying about 50 million bows in the chat didn't know what to do yesterday.
Man, the chat was lit up.
It was about 50 million archers. They was like, damn, oh shit, we losing traction.
Man, they showed up. Yeah.
It's all good. It's all good fun, entertainment. You know what I'm saying? I don't want nobody to get it twisted.
No, man. It was beautiful.
Yeah,
I had a really good time.
I ain't gonna ever hit the court and go soft on you. We on the court, you catching balls and everything, bro.
He came in hella hot though.
Anybody saying that there was no blacks in ancient Kemet is you're pseudo. You gotta
become hot lately, and you know
that's silly now.
But I be watching shows too. I'll be like,
I don't know if he said that because I ain't watch his show, so that's not a shot at you. I'm just saying anybody who says that there were no blacks in ancient Kemet, you're pseudo. You're pseudo at this point, and you're bad pseudo. So I mean, when we go to pre-dynastic Egypt, the first thing they show you is it starts with the Nahes. It starts with the Nubian. The first septdot, the first city state is Ta Seti. What do you call Nubia now? You call it Ta Seti. Why? Because we told you this is what they call Nubia, but you forget that Egypt's first septdot is Ta Seti. We talked about it. Then after we talked about it, Smash did a whole show on it the other day. Stop. The whole 18th dynasty is damn near declared African. From Queen Tia to Amenhotep III to Akhenaten on down. Talk about his obscure head, how he looks like Jay-Z. Stop it. I got a Kevin Hart on you this morning. Is that what we doing? Huh? when we talk Narmer and the way he looks, when we talk about combo, when we talk about the jet black painting of stop. You sound foolish. Foolish.
Got a pseudo killer in the house. What up,
Hey,
Cedric?
I got a question.
Hello, official Cedric in the building. So
What
let's
up, Cedric?
I'm good. Now, y'all know this ain't my subject. I said yesterday, I fuck Kemet. Why I said fuck Kemet is because as I've been in the community, I've seen this subject destroy relationships, and that's the last thing I want. But I love a good fight at the end of the day because I'm a pseudo killer. So I'm here to fight a little bit. Let me see how I do it because I'll follow everything Smash says, and for about, especially when it comes to Kemet, you know, I'm a student, so I sit back and I learn. And this is, let me frame the conversation in its totality. First, let's start with the science. Science has proven to us that all gradients of hue come from the continent. Even the eye color, blue, blonde hair, and straight noses come from the continent, right? So we know that for a fact. We have other forms of evidence that has established the fact that a lighter skin has been in North Africa for over 60,000 years. Back migration, etc., established these people there for over 60,000 years. However, when we're examining the culture that eventually evolved into Kemet, it comes from the south, Sudan, Ethiopia, these area along the Nile, created and built this society that eventually included people from the upper northern region. Now, that contention, now here's where the fight starts for me. When you refer to Kemet as a Mediterranean culture, I say, pull your handbrake, stop. Oh, I don't want to hear that. No, it's a culture that comes from the south. So you can't identify it as being a Mediterranean culture because their relationship was not with the sea. These people didn't fish tuna. These are some of the arguments I have. Now, Alexandria, a Greek establishment, was established near to the Mediterranean coast, and we understand the influence that eventually happened. We even know that the ships the Egyptians used was in the Levant region, not even in Kemet. They would cross over, go to the Levant and use the ships, and we know their influence in establishing what became later the Mediterranean culture because of their interaction with the people around it. So when it comes to the argument, who are the Egyptians? I've never been confused. Phenotypically, Africans are diverse. My phenotype is indicative of West African heritage. I've been amongst people from Chad. They are a mixture of West African phenotypes and Northeast African phenotypes. You move over into Ethiopia and you get a distinct phenotype, the curly hair, the thin nose, the smaller faces, and the different variations in skin tone from mines to darker to lighter. We know this. We move up into Tunisia and we see people almost resembling Europeans. They're all indigenous to Africa. However, at no point in time as a Black man, I'm going to accept what has been forced down the world's throat. It is me being in the Black conscious community that I understood that Egypt was firmly rooted on and in the continent of Africa. What the media has been portraying for years creates the illusion that Egypt is somehow situated over in Arabia. That's what we're fighting against. However, to address some of the pseudo claims that an Ethiopian or Eritrean or a Horn or any of these East Africans, we can't consider them black because black is only a term used in the West, is, in my opinion, flawed. We use this term black. It has become a universal term that most Africans in their interactions outside of Africa given would use and identify. I've been with Somalians,
in Africa, keep going.
with fellows from Madagascar, and we acknowledge our differences. However, we are united in our blackness because of our link to the continent. So again, yes, we need to distinguish the conversations that we're having. In terms of a scientific conversation, we know that the genetic variety, especially in a region of confluence, is going to be varied. So you're going to have a varying genetic difference from light to dark, right? They're all Africans, and Kemet is an indigenous African culture. If we're going to have the discussion of black, I can say easily, listen, why wouldn't I identify an Egyptian as black? Some of them.
I said Smash is only giving us an hour, so you got to be a little bit concise. I ain't trying to rush you, but Smash that we only got an hour. You can wrap it up.
That's pretty much it in a nutshell. Like, so this argument is going both ways, and I don't think it needs to go both ways.
So
you hit the nail on the head.
Watch this. We're going to go ahead and conform what he said. Zahi Hawass actually already tells you. He doesn't like it, but he tells you. He makes the statement. He says, they're black, but they're white. He said they're black, but they're white.
Yeah, because he's talking about they genetically black, but they politically white.
Let me
ask y'all a question.
Yeah, but that's a play on that race. Go ahead, Smash.
No, that's what it is. It's because you see the black phenotype, so they're black.
Go ahead, Smash.
But they're white. Sit back, brother. We talking. So
now, Smash, he had a question for us. Sorry, fall back.
Yeah, I guess he couldn't hear me, so I was waiting for him to finish. Go ahead, sorry. I'm waiting for you to finish.
Unmute yourself.
Oh, the brother muted me. Hold up. Yeah.
I appreciate that, dude.
So, Zahi Hawass already told you they're black, but they're white. So he's already admitting he knows what color and phenotype they are. The other thing we need to do, if we get some time today, let's look at this Natufi and rock art. Let's go look at I got them all right here. I already told you I was going to do a show. But let's just look at them right now. Everybody keeps saying, oh, we need to see who was there during that time, not who's there today, because it's different.
Absolutely.
That's cool. Pull that up. I just want to ask y'all something about tropical. Is Egypt tropical?
Absolutely. They went by the tropical zodiac, in fact.
But I don't know if that's what they mean by tropical, because I thought it was desertous and arid.
Right, I thought tropical meant like jungle, forest.
Yeah, I thought that meant like jungle-ish. I mean, but I don't know. That's why I'm asking, and I'm not.
Tropical relates to your climate and the consistency of temperature. So tropical is on the equator and a little bit above and a little bit below. We don't experience weather fluctuations like higher up. So we don't get winters, we don't get spring and fall. Our weather remains consistent around the equator, and that is what is considered a tropical region.
Yeah. Egypt is not.
That's right.
Tropical, but
so in northern,
you have to look at that time. Was Egypt tropical?
What we know for a fact is. So we don't get winters, we don't get spring. Our weather remains consistent.
Somebody got two things playing.
Oh, here's a quick question. But somebody got to stop that. But when he said tropical limb proportions, and we know Egypt ain't tropical, I
Hold
think
up,
that's more
Smash.
of an indication that
Smash,
he was
hold
saying
up.
coming
Because
from the
somebody
south.
YouTube is playing.
Oh,
Mute your YouTube in the background.
I muted him out. Let's go.
Okay.
When he
hear
said
me now?
tropical limb proportions, don't that give us an indication also that he was talking about in the tropical areas of Africa, since he already established that was indigenous Africans? Then he said they had tropical limb proportions. But if Egypt isn't considered tropical and it's more deserty and arid, when we start to go south, we start just like I think it was Cedric who said, we start to enter the tropical areas. But am I wrong?
That's
No,
what
you're
it
not.
like.
But this is the thing, Smash. I think there's a little mix up in the arguments
Hold up.
because
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we can hear
we
you.
can hear you.
Oh, okay.
Somebody
Okay. I
chopping
thought I
it up
wasn't
right
on.
now.
Yeah, we can hear
Yeah,
you.
so I think there's a little mix up with the conversation because I'm hearing like dude that was saying stop it, like I don't get like in this community. I don't know about white people, but in this community I don't get that people are saying that there was no black people in Egypt.
I never say that. I
The people
said
that,
what we
the people,
consider.
the
No,
people
but that's
He
what
didn't say you said that. He's saying in
that.
general.
But
The
let me,
people
can I chime in real quick?
one at a time.
Yeah, because I've been here
we
for a
can
minute.
hear
I ain't
each
talked
other.
at all. I wanted to say that this like a chess game, like who make the presidents of, is it white or black? First is like the white man in chess makes his move and says it's not, then we defend, just like in chess. We're defending the point that it was black. And that's a thing that I don't understand with Ankh Ngozi and them. What page are they on? What are their stance? Their stance is it was not black?
No, that's what I'm saying.
I-
I'm not getting that, bro. That's the
Can I frame
problem.
this argument? I don't think
two
they're
different
saying that.
stances.
Go ahead, Cedric, because you broke it down
I'm
really good
saying,
earlier.
The doctor and the archaeologist established that this phenotype, what we're discussing, the European looking or the Arab phenotype or that whiter shade, what we see in Egypt now, the question is, are these the result of invading people, moving the indigenous people out, or is this the people that has been there since the beginning? And what the science has established, that these fair-skinned Egyptians, right, are the same people that have been there throughout North Africa for the last 60,000 years. That is a different and separate argument, which I don't agree with, that Egyptians are not also black. If you look at the region that Egypt covered, it went from dark in the north, in the south, to light in the north, and the culture came from the south. So those that brought it there were dark-skinned Egyptians.
And
right?
this is the thing, Cedric. It remains the same today. And I don't get what the hell is wrong with these niggas talking this crazy shit. It's like messing up my head, bro. I can't freaking get it. Like, what the hell is wrong with people? Like, bro, the shit, like the scientist is saying the same thing every damn time. Every one of y'all go to a scientist, they're saying the same shit, but y'all keep making y'all own arguments out of it, bro. It's whack.
What is this dude?
So here's the other thing that needs to be looked at.
Put that one dude whatever you want to. Shit.
I say based on all the evidence that we have, the genetic and the genetic diversity and the skin tones that go along with that genetic diversity has always been there. We know the culture came from the South, so its origins are African, and we look at the people in the South today, they're black, simple as. However, in the North, there were these fair-skinned people, and arguments like invasion and the people have been supplanted creates the illusion that there were no fair-skinned people there, And we know for a fact that these people were there, this color, this tone, this, what we consider other, what we refuse to accept as African, has been there for 60,000 years. We can't deny that either.
But the question seems to be, what would be the main characters like Khufu? Let's say, let me think of another one. Min Kepara, people like that. We want to know like the main, like if we was watching a movie and we watched the movie from Dynasty 1 to Dynasty 15, would it be more the people that you just said that came in from the north, or would it be more the indigenous? And that's what matters, because we talk about Imhotep, pyramid builders, math, science. Who did that? And in mass, even if you had one white-skinned one that did it, who was the majority that did that?
Right, but that's what I already mentioned in the beginning.
But he just
already said
it.
that when I first spoke. But here's the issue right here.
Okay.
No, here's the issue right here. When you talk about supposed science that just said that all of Egyptian is this phenotype, I covered this just the other day. That science is not widely accepted. It's something that a few brothers in the community got and started to run with. It took about 100 bodies from a small cemetery and tried to blanket it across ancient Egypt. It's not. The older work done still has way more bodies. You're talking in the thousands. Now, I pulled up the pre-dynastic report, and it does not show that phenotype dominantly. So anybody running with that small dosage from the little 100 bodies from that small cemetery, which if you've seen some of the articles, they tell you that is some of the newer people who passed away in what we call ancient Egypt. It has nothing to do with the old dynastic body types. You would know that's some nonsense. When people keep trying to run with that, it's nonsensical. So quit trying to say, and that I'm not talking to Cedric, because Cedric is just pointing out what they're using. Stop trying to use that small cemetery as a blanket term for the phenotype of ancient Egypt. Period.
All right, here we go. We're gonna go ahead. We're gonna do it like this because we're gonna throw Ngozi in that pseudo bag too. Because whenever he first came into the community, he was real fly with the E1, B1, elemental P, 1 fish, 2 fish. I'm tired of it. So we finna start calling foul on him. Every time he come in and he cite genetics markers with no supporting evidence, we gonna call a technical foul on his ass and get his ass up out of here. Because we're tired of it. You know what I mean? If he come in and convolute the whole conversations with that mess, and if he's not gonna come with no supporting evidence, we not going to accept it. And it's not that we not going to accept it, it's that science don't accept it. So we going to call that trash and we going to keep it in the trash lane. I'm tired of hearing it. It waters down the whole conversation, and it's the least strongest evidence you have. So that should be the last shit that we look at. The last shit, not the first shit, because he come in and try to trump everybody and lightweight try to talk over everybody's head. But I'm not having it. Next time he come in, and then from this day forward, we going to call foul on his ass. And get him up out of here.
That's that Fulani blood, the anti-Negro in him.
Let me play devil's advocate for a second. We need to always be framing the conversation the right way. When Ngozi is making these genetic marker points, right? I think we fail, or it can be both ways. It's a failure in communication, but I understand. What he is doing is explaining the genetic differences between a South African, a West African, a North African from Morocco, a North African from the Horn, right? We understand these genetic differences. And when we're making the argument about Black, right? These arguments come up in terms of how do we quantify or identify Black? But it's not a fair discussion on a scientific realm, because in science we do not speak about races. This is purely a political and a social discussion that we're having.
No, never mind. Go ahead, dude. You said exactly.
In terms of this back and forth of the European not wanting to recognize the origins of Egypt. We have the out of Africa theory. That's why I get, whenever I hear Mediterranean culture, the out of Africa theory comes in my head, and I get pseudo. I do not want to hear it. I do not want to hear it. So I understand the nuances. However, let me say this again. We cannot stand on weak arguments like the lighter skinned Egyptians are a recent import. They've always been there. When we look at the establishment of the culture and where the kings and this stuff come from, in the early dynastic period, coming up into the later period, most of those kings are going to have a darker shade than what we see in the northern Egyptians, because the culture came from the south. We know that at a certain point in time, the Greeks came in with the Ptolemy, and then we know the Romans came in. So when we go and we pick up a certain amount of skeletal remains, and they're from a specific period, which is the Ptolemy period, and we go to the private graveyard of the Greeks that were established in Egypt, and use that to say, well, the Egyptians are primarily this phenotype, that's a false statement also. So we need to keep the conversation balanced. That's all I'm trying to point out.
Right. But also we have to remember, if you go to the,
I appreciate that, bro.
No, if you
go,
hey, y'all, let's smash it.
No, I just was about to say, let's keep our statements shorter, like you were saying, because we're getting long-winded.
If you take DNA samples from Lebanese, and then you say, oh, look, we found a few matches in the ancient Egyptian, blah, 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 then that's where you're going to get this, oh, see, they match this way more. You didn't do it for the Southern Hemisphere. They barely touched that Southern Hemisphere. And so here, I'll show you one of the reports right here, because Sister Juju keep asking for proof. Here go the report right here. It's right there in the chat. Went to Lebanon. And they took about 100 bodies. And they tell you right there in the report. So don't play, because the evidence is old. This ain't even nothing new. When we start talking about who did the work and what's his name? Is it Edward or this is Dan? Ernest Mackey. When you go into Ernest Mackey's work in 1907, when he pulls up Naket Ankh, Kanum Naket, and the brothers that's actually in ancient locales, you don't get that, do you? You get a different DNA. You get that M1A1, don't you? About 88.5 to 91.27% degree of confidence in confirming its African origins of the two individuals, don't you? That's the stuff you start to get to. So anybody with their, we found a small patch of this, and you try to blanket statement all of Egypt with 100 bodies, you're foolish.
Hey,
now, I want to see, yes, sir.
Real quick, you notice, you remember when they in Zimbabwe, they have found those towers and they was trying to attribute it to Solomon and Shiva? The Shona Tower. Okay, so they found a rhino made of gold. They kept that in a drawer for like 20-something years out of racial hatred. So I don't know how Ankh and Goldie's so gullible to just think these people are giving them righteous. They just quote them like soldiers for everything they said.
Yeah, and everything is right. And like I told y'all we just told y'all yesterday, pay attention when we telling you. My brother Ngozi is Fulani. There's a war going on outside.
That's right. That's why
there is a war in the Sudan. There is beef right now. My brother is involved. His family's typically out there. He moves a certain way. He just married a Muslim sister. And Ngozi
what did he say about the Sudanese the other day? What did he say?
I'm not even going to go because I love my brother Ngozi. He just, I know he's torn.
Let's keep it to the
we deal with the Tigrayan and the Eritrean out here on a regular basis because there's a war.
All right, so let me add to what you said too, because this is another reason why it's a fallacy to use genetic markers. So let's say you
find studied the information I dropped in an old chat. That's how he started going DNA wild. Ms. Rachi, go ahead, family. I'm sorry, due diligence.
So to add to what Asar said and to also what Cedric said, another fallacy is, let's say you're in a particular region and you find a genetic marker and then you say, okay, this marker is for these type of people. Well, whenever you give those people a label, culture comes with it. But here's the problem. That marker can also pop up in every region all the way around it, 360. So whenever you go to the region next to it and they have that same marker, are you then going to say the original marker and this marker, are you going to expand the zone? These people are going to be related all the way around. They could be a different culture. Also, that marker that you found does not say nothing about how those people identify. You just generalizing it to the umpteenth degree. So that's the where you have to really be careful, because when you find a genetic marker in a region, all the way around that region 360, they could have the same marker and share a different culture or the same culture, but we don't know without no supporting evidence. So to come in with an essentialist, absolutist mentality is going to put you in a body bag every time. Pseudoscience.
Hey, due diligence.
Peace.
Peace. Hey, due diligence. You was on the show yesterday at the very end of the show, right?
Yes, sir.
I'm just gonna leave it. I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna get back to the science of it and leave it alone. But Brother Jonathan played the video with the Nubian talking about how the Nubians or the Egyptians was black. And just to gorilla silverback on what Brother Asar just said, Asar said it's a war down there. First thing came out his mouth, Ngozi, was, oh, most of these people are black nationalists.
Yeah, I feel. I don't want to get into the brother's personal.
There's a war going on outside. That's what I was trying
to say. Hey, let's stick to the information though, because
because this now starting to sound like an Ngozi spill.
People talking about smashes this and y'all can beat up on the information, but let's not do that.
And Ngozi, our brother, this is just a different set of information. And right now, anybody, like I said, if you're running with that, remember, I said this about 8 years ago when they first did it. I told my brother, hush your mouth. They found a body of 700 Greeks dumped unceremoniously from the Ptolemaic era, mummified basically from the dirt, because they weren't buried like normal Egyptians. I said, be careful. They're probably going to start to take these bodies and usurp what was ancient Egypt, because it's easy to use that type of body and produce DNA.
Absolutely. I just want to give a little preference, man. Like Smash was saying, I don't know if y'all heard him, but we got love for all of the brothers, all of the pseudo killers. We're going to keep it professional. We're going to keep it about the information. Let's not touch on nobody's private life. If you want to contend with the info, let's have it. But let's personal. But yeah, all in all, though, it's been great. You know, where's why we don't have no pseudo killers, man? What are pseudo killers there? Why we ain't got no pseudo killers in the building, man?
Got Cedric in the building. We got my one man who was talking earlier. I asked you to mute him, but you could let him do his thing. I just was talking about, because the tone sometimes that we take, it'll take the discourse to the Chief X like argument style.
Yeah, exactly, bro.
Say what you gotta say, but
hush your mouth and all that ain't necessary, bro.
Yeah, pseudo killers here represent, and I'm doubling down for Bobby actually. Again, the video yesterday illustrated two things, two very important things. The misuse of the DNA to establish that these Egyptians, quote unquote, were of more of Mediterranean descent, which goes to support the out of Africa theory. We put that to rest. You can't use a couple of samples from a specific time period in a specific area to identify the whole population. Subsequently, the misconception that northern part of Africa for over 60,000 years. We know for a fact, though, that the culture came from the south, and there's no way you can exclude darker skinned people, darker skinned Africans from Egypt. So when I hear things like, but he's a Nubian, that's kind of cringe, because there are indigenous dark-skinned Egyptians. Look at the map and explain to me how those people in the south are not indigenous Egyptians, but with a darker hue. That's what I got a problem.
If we just do a bit, can I share my screen, brother Due Diligence?
Absolutely.
Let's go see real quick, right?
You mind if I talk a little bit while you sharing it?
Oh, absolutely. It won't let me share though. You gotta
hold on, let me figure it out because I yeah, maybe that's it right there, because usually give
there
me
it is.
Okay. Usually it give me a little prompt.
Where,
yeah, I'm what the hell I was gonna say.
Like Zero Dynasty and all that.
So why you pulling that up? So this is what I'm gonna say. So y'all look at it more rigid than I do, right? Y'all delineate these lines way too rigid. Y'all say this is a Nubian, this is an Egyptian, this is whatever the case may be. But to me, I look at it as all relative and they all related. So I look at it as a continuous evolution or process, and people migrate and they just, settle in different places, adapting to different things, picking up culture, you know what I mean? So I don't look at it as so rigid. I don't see too much of a difference between a Nubian and an Egyptian because one comes from the other. So we make the distinctions with the labels, but to me, y'all be acting like it don't be like this, like it's not blurred in between those lines. Like a Nubian ain't an Egyptian ain't a Nubian. So I try to keep it all into context and feel like all these people is related, and it's the only thing that separates them is culture to me. You know what I mean? And y'all look at these genetics like they really, like it's a hard line with these genetics. Like y'all look at a particular time in history and say, boom, that genetic marker right there, that's when they changed into something different. But in reality, the people didn't know that they changed. You know what I'm saying? Like, so whenever people look at it like that, it's kind of false. It gives people a false pretense. So whenever you look at a genetic marker and say they changed right here at this time, but in reality, at that time in history, that those people could have been practicing any type of culture. You don't know. You know what I mean? So I just want to throw that out. I feel like things
hey, I'm sorry, you about to share?
That's a good point.
It is. Hey, I'm sorry, you about to share?
Yeah, I'm sharing. I think okay. I'm just going through it. I'm looking up the joint.
Let me make a quick statement too. I just wanted to say, when you're looking at the Pantheon, as they so-called call them, of gods in Egypt, Amen came from Sudan, right? Amen had any time in Kemetic history, the northern, like people from the Mediterranean, had their name for the creator or a northern indigenous name come down and rule the whole kingdom of Kemet. It's always been Nubian. Amen was the most important god of the whole Kemetic culture.
Exactly. And
he wasn't always the top, but
okay.
Over time he becomes that. And in the late stages, he definitely represents that. And then him and the Tsar, because they're pretty much the same.
On the Pseudo Killer show, we put up a map once, which is going to Brother Due Diligence point, where we were showing, Ang pulled it up, where we showed the overlapping and the mixing and the nuances of human interaction. So you're absolutely right. Drawing these hard lines in terms of this group, that genetic marker makes you this, or that genetic marker makes you that, is a flawed way of using genetics. It is ebb and flow. Like I said, If you look at people from Chad, they're a mixture of West African and North African phenotypes. And the more north you go, the more northeast you go, you see that there's more changes in the phenotype. So it's a gradual process of intermingling and the nuances in the population. That's why I have a problem saying when we try to make an argument that indigenous Egyptians weren't of a darker hue. I'm staying away from the word
real quick. Dude, can you make me the host again?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we got like 10 more minutes. We'll go right ahead, Cedric.
Yeah, like one of the arguments I heard Chief X make yesterday, which I don't agree with, is that we can't consider Northeast Africans Black because they don't share our exact phenotype. I think that's a flawed statement, but to avoid that confusion, I'm gonna say the idea that Egyptians weren't of a darker hue is a flawed reasoning.
So when we talk about the North African rock art, we just need to go look, right? We can do that.
Taselli and Jar and all that. Oh, wow.
Yeah, so this is an actual European and North African rock art. This is what you typically are going to see, these here. Let's go look at some of the, let's see. This is, yeah, this is very, we did this a while ago. I don't know. These are those people. This is, let me get specific. We need to go to specific locations, right?
Game over.
And this is why I had to do this the other day, and then our brother had to admit, you can already see from these locales, you can see the out of Africa theory working. You can see where everybody goes. I'm not pulling up everything. I'm just showing some of the stuff. You can see where we leave and populate. And the Khoisan come from way down here. We won't get into that right now. We don't have a lot of time, but let's just look at the rock art. Let's see right here. Rock art, ancient Namibia, Bushman paintings in Damerland. This is in Namibia. Look, we don't have to guess. Let's go to Morocco. This is the big one, right? Let's go to, here she go. With her afro. And the white dots, similar to another ancient Egyptian tribe and another tribe. We can go further down. You don't want to go there. You see this over here? Morocco. If we go, let's go somewhere else. So I'm Morocco. Hold up, where's my Algeria?
This is I gotta close it down, but I'm gonna be back right after this with another live stream. Hopefully y'all can tap in. Appreciate y'all. Salute.